predator of the sea, terror of all men who enter the ocean, the very symbol of lurking danger.
Sharks have been here for more than 400 million years. 150 million years before the dinosaurs. When life had just begun on land, there was little oxygen in the atmosphere, and only 2 continents. Sharks were shaping this world. Life on Earth evolved from the sea. The first animals were tiny single-celled organisms that gave rise to algae, coral, and tiny planktonic animals. More invertebrates followed, including squids and mollusks. One of the first vertebrates with jaws, and the only large animal that's remained unchanged for 400 million years, is a shark. New animals to evolve in the ocean have been shaped by their predators, the sharks, giving rise to schooling behavior, camouflage, speed, size, and communication. Sharks control the populations below them, eliminating species that were easy prey and creating new ones. Even though sharks have very few young and take up to 25 years to reach sexual maturity, they've managed to survive through 5 major extinctions that wiped most life from the planet. They're architects of our world. Most of what people know about sharks, they've heard from the media. The more time I spent with sharks, the more I realized that they're nothing like what we're told. They're perfect predators that hold the underwater world in balance. The lions and tigers of the seas. I spent so much time underwater so I could gain their trust and get close enough to film them. Everything moved together, lived together. The Galapagos hosts one of the largest marine reserves on Earth, where sharks are cherished and protected. Hammerheads are some of the most misunderstood species. They are incredibly shy animals. Hammerheads, like all sharks, have 2 more senses than people. They have lateral lines running along the sides of their bodies that can detect movement in the water. Their heads are a giant sensory system that detects electromagnetic fields, enabling them to find food that's hidden from view and to feel my heartbeat. As soon as I was let out of the hospital, I started making my way back to Costa Rica. Costa Rica was the last place on Earth I should go. I would be arrested immediately if they found out I was there. So I had to sneak in. I took a boat from the Galapagos Islands to mainland Ecuador. My friends in Costa Rica told me not to fly back into the country, but I'd be caught if I did. I had to avoid any major ports, the police, and the Coast Guard. Even if I made it to the coast, I'd also have to avoid the shark fin mafia.
Just go straight up.
To avoid capture, I traveled overland for days, using public transportation and tour buses to get back into the country.
Still go on this bus?
I only narrowly escaped arrest a few weeks earlier, but I had to find a way in, and find a way to help sharks. Avoiding arrest and staying on public buses, I made it to the coast and entered Punta Arenas. Instead of the shark fin mafia I was expecting to greet me, there were protests in the streets. Costa Ricans were rallying against shark finning. The publicity surrounding our case brought the shark finning industry into the spotlight. We hadn't totally failed in saving sharks. We helped awaken a country and people. Costa Ricans were outraged. They held protests against the private docks and spoke out against the corruption. The world had started rallying for sharks. The police were busy with the protests, and the mafia was in hiding. Now I knew I could make it to Cocos without getting caught. I found my friends, and we headed back out to sea. Returning underwater, finally, I could swim with sharks again.